So would anybody would like to tell me what are the 4 stages of the mitotic division? Unmute and tell me the four different stages of the mitotic division.
Prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase.
Yes, very good. So what are the phases? First one is
Prophase.
prophase. Yeah. And prophase, then
Metaphase.
prophase, then metaphase. Then what is the third one?
Anaphase.
Yes. And then last is when it is divided, we call it a telophase, where we see the two cells equally getting completely divided. So we do have, as I told you, most of the time we'll get these permanent slides of these cell divisions, and these slides are available in our lab also. So you will, when the school reopens, you'll be able to see them. So now let us observe under the microscope. Under the microscope, when you look at those slides, what do you find? If you look at this mitotic divisions, and each phase, you see these clear changes that are happening into it. During prophase, you see that first the chromosomes are thin thread-like structures. They contract, and they become spiral, and it becomes visible. Otherwise, they were all in the nucleic material. You will not be able to differentiate them. But in the prophase stage, they can easily be differentiated, and the nuclei become very smaller. And these chromosomes, they split lengthwise to form chromatic connected by a centromere. In the picture, if you have seen that, that was a thread-like structures. If I can show you, it was like this. This was thick, and in between you could see a round centromere, like this. So which is dividing it into 2 equal parts from here. From here, this gets divided so that, both the cells get equal material. And then the nuclear membrane, this is all surrounded into a membrane. So this nuclear membrane, it breaks, it gets ruptures. You can see that it gets ruptured in between, and then it disappears. And once it breaks, and then the centrosomes containing rod-like centrioles divide and form end of spindles. And there is no pairing of chromosomes in meiosis. So this is what happens in the cell division. So this meiosis and mitotic divisions are different. In mitotic, in the prophase stage, both of them have got the prophase stage. So prophase stage of mitotic division has got this series of changes you can see in them. Whereas in meiosis, you will not see the pairing of chromosomes, because meiosis is, you all know that it's, which division is meiosis? What do you call meiosis as? What division do you call it?
Meta division.
Yes.
I think that divides.
Which cells, in which cells do you see meiotic division? Mitotic and meiotic. We were talking about 2 types of divisions. So what is the difference between these 2 divisions? Yeah, come on, give me a try. Give a try. What is the difference you find in between both the divisions? What is the major difference between mitotic and meiotic division? Yes. Yes.
Mitotic essential reproduction, asexual reproduction, meiosis,
Meiosis.
meiosis,
Huh.
meiosis, sexual reproduction.
In sex cells, meiotic division takes place. That is very good. And mitotic is an asexual division. That is one of the good difference you have told about both the cells. So what are the end results of mitotic division and what is the end results of meiotic division? In telophase, in the telophase stage, what do you find in mitotic division and what do you think will be the result of meiotic division? So, okay, you could not differentiate between mitotic and meiotic division. You have somebody has mentioned it rightly that mitotic takes place is a asexual division and meiosis is a sexual division. Meiosis takes place in the sex cells. That is true. And now when we say that mitotic is a asexual division and it is a division, it takes place in the parts where the growth takes place. Jahan par, like your height of a tree increases because of the mitotic division. So when it is increasing, that means what is happening in mitotic division? Are the cells, daughter cells from one cells, are the cells multiplying or reducing there in mitotic division?
I think multiplying, ma'am.
Yes, because that when it is growing, that it has to multiply. And in meiotic division, what is happening?
It decreases.
It has to decrease naturally. What is happening is when male and female cells, egg and the sperm, you have seen how in a ovule, inside the ovule of a plant flower, what was happening is when these pollen grains were entering, the sperm was entering into the ovule, they were fusing together and two cells were becoming one. So meiosis will be a reduction division. From two, it has become one. Whereas mitosis is a division where the cells keep on multiplying from two to one to two, two to four, like this, they keep on multiplying. So that is the major difference. So now what you see, the major difference in the prophase. So ये दोनों cells, divisions में प्रोफेस होगा, लेकिन प्रोफेस के जो स्टेप्स यू आर सीइंग, यू हैव टू राइट द सेम स्टेप्स फॉर माइटोसिस एंड मियोसिस. ओनली थिंग इज इन माइटोटिक डिवीजन क्रोमोसोम्स में पेयर्स हो रहे हैं, दे आर नो, लेकिन मियोसिस में क्रोमोसोम पेयरिंग नहीं होगी. So you have to remember this major difference. That is why, क्योंकि पेयरिंग इसलिए नहीं हो रही है because it is a fusion division. Whereas वहां पर पेयरिंग इसलिए हो रही है कि वहां पर सेंट्रोमियर फॉर्म होना है and it has to get divided for two daughter cells. All right. And now let us see what happens in the next division in metaphase. So now you can see that a clear spindle-like structure is formed in metaphase stage. And in that spindle, you see a centromere to which the spindle fibers are attached, and this split separating the chromatid. And in anaphase stage, this spindle attached to the centromere contracts, pulling the chromatids towards the pole. So this is how you see, there is a spindle, bole to ek aisa shape form hoga. This is called as a spindle shape. ये दिख रहा है ना स्क्रीन पे आप सबको spindle shape which I have drawn just now.
Yes, ma'am.
So इस spindle shape में what will you see is, you know, ये constrict होना शुरू होगा first stage, metaphase stage में chromosomes move to the spindle equators. यहाँ से they started moving here. You can see the chromosomes getting moving towards the poles, different poles. यहाँ बीच में centromere रहेगा, that would that is ready to get, ये center से यहाँ पर divide होना शुरू होंगे ये centromeres. This is what we are talking about metaphase stage. लेकिन anaphase में what is happening is you can clearly see that this spindle shapes will get separated in both the places. यहाँ का पार्ट इधर आ जाएगा, यहाँ का इधर आके they are बीच में से यहाँ से separate हो जाएंगे. They get separated from the center and they get divided into two different parts in anaphase stage. Okay, and they started pulling towards the, or वो elongate हो जाएगा. Spindle का size also changes, if you can notice and see. Right? Have you all understood or any doubts?
Yes, ma'am, I understood.
Okay, everybody, if you all have understood, please do let me know if anybody have got a doubt between the what happens in anaphase and metaphase stage. So after this comes the last stage of the cell division, and we call it a telophase. So in telophase, we can see that these chromatids elongate and they become invisible. And replication of these at this stage to become, they replicate same repeatedly, they keep on multiplying and they become this stage, we can see the clear formation of the chromosomes, and nuclear membrane forms around the daughter nuclei. So once this is divided, you know, you can see the clear formation of the daughter nuclei. In this spindle, you can separately see that these nuclei are formed. You can see them forming. These chromosomes are formed in the center and they get surrounded by a nuclear membrane. That's how the separation of the cells starts. So now this is what is the cell wall is made for the new daughter cells. So a clear new separate cells are formed by the telophase, and that is how you see that how they get divided into two different cells. And then all the nucleic membrane and you know, the other parts also get divided. But now you just see how it is happening in meiosis. You have seen that division in mitosis. So what is the difference between mitotic and meiotic division? Mitosis is a division where fission takes place whereas separation and it's multiplying, whereas meiosis is a reduction division, and you see that it is fusing. So unlike mitosis, which is a continuous process of division in most cells, meiosis occurs only during the formation of gametes in the sexual reproduction. This is a very important point that you have to always remember between mitotic and meiotic divisions. Please note it down and draw this diagram and see how these how does the chromosomes look in mitotic division and how does they look in meiosis during meiosis. So draw this diagram and note down this difference. Uh, what is happening to the chromosomes in meiosis and mitosis? Yes.
Yes.
Difference, you are able to find out the difference, how a spindle is been forming, and you find with a clear centromere, a double thick chromosomes in meiosis, because in meiosis kya ho raha hai, both the cells are fusing together to form. So two different cells are fusing, so the chromatic material is becoming thicker here. Whereas from one single cell in mitotic division, the chromatin is dividing. So you can see that the thin chromatic material in mitotic division. Okay. So, and then when you see that these cells, how are these cells getting divided in both, and how are this chromatic material and all nuclear membranes material is dividing. So meiosis has only two phases. That is first, in the first phase of the meiosis, you see that the parent cell divides twice through the chromosomes, and they divide only, whereas in mitotic division they divide only once. And what all are in the spindle shaped, it's mitotic telophase. What is happening in meiotic telophase, and how does they get differentiated? All the materials during these cell divisions are clearly mentioned into it, and there is a difference shown between mitotic and meiosis, and you can see these pictures and the diagrams in your textbooks also, and go through it. And if you are not able to understand, we can again discuss. So 4 daughter cells have just formed. So this division, thus we call it as a haploid division or a reduction division. And this is very important that you should know what is AIDS. We call it as an acquired immune deficiency syndrome. And this spreads if there are unsafe sexual contacts between the people. And if they are using, you should be very careful about the devices, what you use when you go to a barber for cutting your hair or anything, or during hospitalization, some of the, if the same instruments are used, which are there into the used for a HIV patient, AIDS patient. AIDS is a disease. What is the full form of AIDS? Just now I've told you, it is an acquired immune deficiency syndrome. So if one person is having this disease because they have some immunity problem because of which that person gets it, but it is highly contagious, you have to maintain the hygiene. So if you are not having any sexual interaction with that person who is suffering with that, you will also suffer with that AIDS disease, and there is no treatment for it. And in the hospitals also, if the hygiene is not maintained, if they are using some needles or the operation instruments which were used for a patient who was suffering with AIDS, and the same are used for a normal patient, this other person will also become HIV positive. And if you look at the statistics, 5 lakhs of 24 lakhs are HIV positive patients in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Yeah, this is the data given in 2011 and 12 statistics. We are seeing that these were many of the states where it spreads very rapidly. Now we are not talking about it. We are only talking about Omicron or the coronavirus, but these are also the diseases where the Andhra Pradesh has especially struggled a lot, because while in every 300 adults, they in Andhra Pradesh 100 adults were suffering with these diseases. Almost 1% of their population was suffering with HIV diseases, AIDS disease there. And in the same statistics of Andhra Pradesh was one of the states in India that was very badly affected by this disease. And in among 1.07% were the male who were suffering, and 0.73% were the females that were suffering in this state of Andhra Pradesh. So it is very important that you should understand how this spreads. These are all the wrong practices which even the people who are during unemployment, they have no work and they does all sort of wrong activities which are prohibited, and then they get these diseases, and then the treatment is very difficult. And Asha Red Ribbon, there is one awareness this program that is done among all the adolescents, because you are the students now, you are studying, and you know that this is what the disease, this is a disease that occur, and it is very dangerous disease. As we have got the awareness for the corona, the awareness for this type of disease is also very important. So you are now an educated person who knows how this disease is spread. So please make sure that you spread the same information among the people who doesn't know about it, and stop this. And you have got an ability to stop this disease. So with this, we end the class. If you have got any doubts, please do get it clarified.